Hello everyone, we are in the village of Binxan Act 3 Orient, and I wanted to show you today a very interesting character that started as an experiment. I called him Dodger, and I started stacking dodging projectiles and melee attacks on him, and also stacking defensive ability, which is now 974. The character is Harbinger, which means he's Warfare plus Dream. And we'll start with a section of gameplay, then I will move to the build itself and stats. As for statistics, it's just dexterity, so there's not much to talk really about, just full points into dexterity because you want this defensive ability as high as possible. What defensive ability does is it lowers the chance of getting critical hit, and if it's high enough it also gives us some dodge chance. I'm not sure if it stacks with the dodge chance from the gear, and it basically allows us to not get hit at all. That's what some people said on forums. That was as much information as I could get. I'm not really sure if it's additive to the dodge chances from gear, but you will see that it's very effective build. Now I'm using only one skill, it's Trance of Wrath from the Dream. It's maxed, so let's see how it goes. You can watch my health bar. I'm actually having only 37 HP regeneration, so normally I would be dying here a lot from those guys, but as you can see I can tank Tigermen, pack leaders, and normal Tigermen and mages, pretty much everything here, not getting hit at all or getting hit very little and regenerating through everything with very little health regeneration. So it's mostly dodging. The whole character is mostly about dodging. I can of course speed it up with attacking. I have psionic touch on left button, so I can hack at the guy like this, or I can use Phantom Strike with, let me check, Dream Stealer to nuke a group of enemies and speed things up. But the most important part I wanted to show you is the whole dodging thing. Usually when you fight those Tigermen, they are hitting you, especially if they use battle standard, especially if you're fighting those yellow enemies. As you can see here, I'm just standing here and getting no damage or almost no damage. And now this build works pretty nicely for lower difficulties. You can farm with him. You can also farm in the endless idling spot that I might show you at the end of the video as well. I just wanted to show you all those enemies here and also the Draconians. Maybe we find one group here. Okay, we have a group of Draconians. They usually also hit quite hard. In this case, they are not hitting us. I'm not gonna go to cave, I haven't been there even. So we just finish them off, move to another group. And probably will make it to the next fountain all the way. That was the plan. As you can see, no problems killing them, mostly from our aura. But if you want to, you can also use attacks on left or right mouse buttons just to speed it up, like this. I'm nuking them with a right mouse button. Now I have 16-second recharge, so I have to fight with left mouse button or just with the aura. You can also move around and just ignore the enemies. You can speed run if you want to. This is a very good character for farming stuff, like specific drops, and we can do it on all 3 acts. Now in Hades it's not as good because enemies have higher offensive chance and they can hit us more often. I also died 5 times on this character. 3 of the deaths were on Typhoon, which is quite damaging to us because he's stealing health and vitality. And he was basically killing me quite often. And I also died twice on Epic, so basically while going through all 4 acts on normal enemies I didn't die at all. So this is rather safe build. Okay, and we move to the next fountain. It's a little bit further. I just wanted to kill a few more groups of the Draconians like this. And they're all hitting me with battle standard on. Now I'm getting hit a little bit, but I can just nuke them. slowly kill the rest, and just keep regenerating. They can't hit me at all because they don't have the buff from battle standard. They're not hitting me very much. And I also have to press X because I forgot about it. And next group here, maybe nuke them. And that's almost it. I think there is the fountain is a little bit further to the left and top. It should be right here. We'll also collect some of the raptors. It generally depends how high the offensive ability of the enemy is. If it's lower, they are not hitting us at all. If it's higher, or if they are buffed somehow, they usually hit us a little bit. And that would be, I guess, it. So if you ever had trouble in this area, you can now use this build to not have trouble at all. And if you need farming or just leveling, you can also do it. I will now show you the leveling spot that I was showing before on another video. And I will tell you about the gear and skills. So we'll now just make a speed run to Thebes. Now the problem with the fountains is that sometimes you want to stay on a specific fountain because you don't want to go all the way from the teleporter to the fountain. That's why I didn't have this location checked just to appear here. I have now checked the last location in the game just before the Hades. So if I want to go to Thebes, I have to go from the teleporter. And I can't check the fountain in here in the Temple of Hatshepsut because then I would have to go to Hades all the way from the teleporter, and it's quite long and boring. So I have to run there. But as you can see, I'm also destroying enemies on the Egypt act. No problem here. You can farm those dark obelisks if you want. It's quite easy. And we're moving to the farming spot, which is past the stairs. Right here, I didn't really show the road to this place yet, so now you have it here on this video. I will just kill the bowman, not killing the dark obelisk, if possible. I'm locating myself here, and we can talk about gear and stats. So maybe I will start with gear. The most important part about the gear is that you have to always prioritize all chances to avoid projectiles and all chances of dodging. Like, this weapon is quite weak and I don't really hit hard. This is not really a very fast build if the enemies are not just groups of weak mobs. I have a little bit of problem fighting bosses because it takes a long time, especially on Epic. It's much slower on Epic and on Hades. But I want to have as high chance of avoiding and dodging attacks as possible, so that's why I keep this weapon here, just because it has the 7 chance to avoid projectiles. That's the key part here. Same for the torso armor. I have 16 chance to avoid projectiles, then 5% to chance to dodge attacks on the artifact. Next is the shield, which has 16 chance and also 25% less damage from beastmen. That's pretty much, there's beastmen in every act, so you can always use it a little bit. And then we have 10 chance to avoid projectiles, 17 chance to avoid projectiles, and 30% less damage from beastmen. I didn't really have any better griefs, so I'm using those. So overall I have 55% less damage from beastmen if they ever hit me. So it's also helping with tiger people, with hyena, with satyrs, with Lamia on last act. Basically in every act you have some beastmen, also minotaurs in Olympus, so it's always helpful. And here I also have 75 less damage from undead just for this location, just in case if I want to farm here. I don't really need it because they rarely even hit me, but I probably will do the same on Epic, so I just put this Persephone, so those undead. If they hit me for less. I also have 2 rings. One is very important because it's again 5% chance to dodge attacks. It's quite rare, but I kinda found it. And the other is for attack speed. It's basically helping me a little bit with my attacks, because as you can see I have 140 or 125 attack speed, depending if my battle rage activates it or not, and it's just helping me finish off some harder enemies. So that would be it about the build. I also have 2 parts of health regeneration. It's the head and viney growth on here. It's not very strong, it's only 2.5 and 50. The bonus not very good. Overall I have 37. Probably I could switch those 2 for epics and on level 4 for legendaries, but as you can see I don't really need that much regeneration on this build. It's mostly just dodging. And now to make this build work you need to focus on 2 skills. First skill is temporal flux in Dream. It's 15% chance to avoid projectiles, and in future we can probably add up to +4 from the plus skill items if you ever found any. I didn't, so it's just 6 out of 6. And Warfare Mastery is dodge attack. It's 21% chance to dodge attack. So we have 21% chance to dodge attacks from Warfare and 15% chance to avoid projectiles from Dream. And those 2 are key to the build. Now as for other stats, let's see what I have in Warfare. I have 1 point weapon training. Again, it's just to make it easier to finish off enemies with my left mouse button attack. It's helping if I fight hard enemies, but it has no effect on the whole killing groups of mobs. It's just not important for it. As for battle rage, again it's more damage, more offensive ability, more crits, a chance for more damage, and even some damage retaliation. It might help if somebody actually hits us. Then we have battle standard. It's +2 skills and more offensive ability, and it lowers enemy resistance to physical damage, so that if we are fighting a boss we can just put down battle standard and kill them with this. We have like, let's see how much, 18 seconds to kill the boss this way, so it's helping. And then we can also activate Ancestral Horn to get 3 summons. They will also be using the bonus from the standard, so they will hit harder. The enemy will have less armor, so they will help us kill the boss. You can do it on basically just for boss fights. It's not really necessary for our survivability, but the key part is this dodge attack. For Dream Master we definitely need Trance of Wrath maxed, because it's for our damage. Without we would be just running through the game without killing anything, which I guess there might be even an achievement for that. But what I want to do, I want to level up, I want to collect items, so I just want to kill groups of enemies as fast as possible. This is very useful, and this is our main source of damage. I put 1 point those 2 other trances just in case, maybe I will be using them in the future. And then I have maxed this whole Lucid Dream, and this one is improving our damage from the trance. This one is giving us even more defensive ability and offensive ability, which is more crits and less crits taken and less damage taken and more dodge chance on top of that. This is key to the build, as I said before, chance to avoid projectiles. Also more speed, overall speed, so we generally even move faster as we run through the game. And this one is for our main attack, Psionic Burn, 1 point in each. I didn't max it yet, but I eventually will. It's better to have this than nothing on our main button, and it's kinda going together with the whole electrical burn bonuses, like here. And it's also going on top of this, so we just make a lot of electrical damage to the enemies. This is a defensive ability, also 1 point here. When it activates it's awesome, when it doesn't, no problem. We don't really need it, but well, eventually we can max it as well. And this is for nuking. We want to nuke enemies from time to time. This is 16 seconds recharge, so it's very long, but we can nuke enemies for like 1000 damage sometimes, because I guess also all the crits go to this, and it will also do any effect that we have on weapon just to 5 targets. So if we are surrounded, we can just like this nuke the enemies. Let's make them collect. Okay, and we nuke them. As you can see, 1000 damage, they all die. This is just to make things faster. It's not necessary, it's not a priority. The priorities would probably be those two skills for dodging and trance. Everything else just can wait, and we add it further slowly to the build. So I guess that would be it about it. Yeah, I think I covered everything on this build. So it's stats, only dexterity, skills I just talked about, and you saw the efficiency. So if you want a build like this, if you want to try dodging, if you want to try fast clearing waves of enemies and being very survivable, you can try this. Also, I guess this build can be much better if we improve it with epic and legendary stuff. And also one more thing, I'm using charms, so I didn't talk about yeah, this one is for less damage. This one is important because we're using Guan Yu Grace. It's again 6% chance to dodge attacks, so you should use that on your torso armor. So most likely it will be torso armor that can be charmed, and you want to use this on this. Of course, it's just essence. It's from normal difficulty. If we get legendary version, it's gonna be better, and not much place for improvement here. We just want legendary viny growth and maybe legendary essence of Persephone tears to farm this place on epic and legendary. So that would be it for the build. Thank you for attention, and we see you in the next video.